Hello, and welcome to the AARP New Jersey Fraud Facebook Friday, the first one of 2026. I'm Val Gallagher, an AARP New Jersey volunteer and your host for today's conversation. Have you joined a group chat about investing because someone invited you? Or perhaps you were added to it unexpectedly after clicking on an ad on social media. Fraudsters use group chats to target investors in different types of scams. These are also called ramp and dump scams. According to the FBI, in 2025, they've seen at least a 300% increase in victim complaints referencing ramp and dump stock fraud from 2024. Today, Kate Thompson, the Regional Outreach and Communications Coordinator at the New York Regional Office, joins us to share information on group chat related investment scams and how we can protect ourselves and our loved ones. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission, otherwise known as the SEC, regulates these securities industry, protects investors, and maintains fair, orderly, and efficient markets. So, Kate, thank you so much for joining us today. My first question to you is, how do fraudsters lure people into fake investment related group chats?
Of course. Well, thanks so much for having me this afternoon. I just need to give a quick disclaimer that the information that I provide today is in my official capacity as the Commission's Regional Outreach Coordinator, but does not necessarily reflect the views of the Commission, the Commissioners, or other members of the staff. So let's get to your question. How do fraudsters lure people into fake investment related group chats? Well, many times the texts are going to come into your phone and they are going to claim to be from one, a well known financial guru, or we'll see an esteemed professor from a top elite college in the United States who's offering you financial advice, or a CEO or another expert. Those are red flags of these group chat text scams. Many times they're promoting using AI algorithms that will generate stock picks or other investments. They'll advise you to set up an account or use a mobile app. And many times, what will be sent on the group chats will be profits. They're going to show you how your money has been invested. And many times with these frauds, these profits that they're showing you, they're going to demand a fee or a tax or some sort of made up penalty that you have to pay in order to get your money out. So many times investors will call me and they'll say, I was on these group chats. They were showing me statements or screenshots where my account was worth $90,000, let's say. But now I have to pay them, not out of that account, but I have to pay them with other money to get my money out of that. That many times now we're talking about an advanced fee fraud. They're trying to get you to pay another fee to get your money out of this account that they started to take money from you on those group chats. A lot of times, another thing that we'll see is on these group chats, they'll tell you that the SEC, for instance, or some other government agency has frozen their account, and they're telling you have to pay another fee to get the money out because some government agency has frozen that account. But it's really important to be wary and to really have that red flag go up in your head when you're getting an out of the blue text from some investment professional, or many times they're using these top elite professors. When you're seeing that elite professor, that red flag should go off in your head that, does this make sense? Should I be cautious here? Is this a red flag that someone out of the blue is texting me on these group chats and trying to get me to invest in something? So my final warning is to just be very wary about group chats and making investment decisions based on information that you're solely getting from those group chats. So just be sure that you are getting advice from someone you know and someone you trust, and not just believing what's coming across the screen of your phone.
Wow, that is definitely some very interesting information. Has there ever been a famous example of a group chat investment scam? So did we as the general public and those who have loved ones, we know how to spot the clues before something happens?
Yes. So as I said, some investors will call the SEC and speak with me. So I've spoken to people in the public that has had this type of scam happen to them, and the SEC has recently brought a case where they have brought charges against people who are pretending to be professors, to be investment professionals. And what they'll do in the case with the SEC is that there's an investment club, so they're telling you you're special. There's a club. And then there is the professor. And the professor posts updates in the group chat. And they will comment on stocks. And there's usually someone helping the professor. There's an assistant. And they're feeding you information. And they're feeding you very believable and lifelike statements. So, again, that is a red flag when they're feeding you this information, and members are posting screenshots in the group chats of successful trades. And there's usually you're making a lot of money here. They're telling you that you're making a lot of money here. And these are tricking investors into these high profit opportunities, and they're pretending to be a legitimate business. So then the final straw is that they'll go back in with that bonus allegation that you need to go in and pay the fee in order to get your money out. And that is that advanced fee fraud where, right at the end, they know you want that money and they're trying to extract even more money out of you in order for you to get this money that is been invested in this group chat, if it has even been invested at all.
Wow. Wow, that's really a lot for people to think about. Thank you again, Kate. What are some actions that we can take to avoid group chat related investment scams?
So, one thing that everyone should really look at is to thoroughly research any investment pitch that is in a group chat and possibly report that securities fraud to the SEC if you do think it's a fraud coming, across your phone. Verify who you are communicating with. It is very easy for anyone to pretend they're anybody over a group chat. Make sure you really know who you're talking to. And don't go by their information. If they're feeding you phone numbers and feeding you websites, what's really important is for you to independently verify that information. So do some quick Google searches. That might be enough. Make sure that you look up the phone number or go on the website and see if you can verify if people are saying who they say they are. Be highly suspicious if you're instructed to pay for an investment using cash, especially if that person has to come to your house and pick up that money. Don't invest with anyone who tells you to lie to your bank about who and why you are withdrawing that money. Sometimes banks, when they start seeing senior citizens take large amounts of money out, and that is not a something typical that they would do. Banks are starting to, speak up and say something. So make sure that you're telling the banks the truth and not lying to them when you're taking money out. And also, what they're doing is sending ads directly to people's phones, or people are also seeing those ads on the internet. Just, really be discerning. Ask questions. If they're promising these ads in like incredible returns, high investment returns, it's probably too good to be true. Just take that moment and really do your homework, and don't feel forced or like, FOMO, like fear of not having the opportunity to jump in there. It's better to take the time and do the research and make an informed decision.
Wow, this information is definitely very, very important. And one thing that I've always said, in my journey in life is older adults often have assets, right? And that's exactly what we're talking about. They have assets. Whether the scammer knows they have the assets or not is completely, irrelevant. It's just that they have a bullseye, unfortunately, on their back. So, how can folks report if they've become a victim of these types of scams?
So the SEC has a reporting system in place. And so we strongly encourage the public, whistleblowers and non whistleblowers, to submit any tips, complaints, or referrals using the SEC's TCR system and our complaint form. If you submit a TCR on our online system, you will receive a confirmation notice that we have received your submission and that it's been successful, and we will provide you with a number for your records. The easiest way to provide a tip, complaint, or referral to the SEC is to go to our website. That's sec.gov. And there is a green button in the top right hand corner. And you submit a tip or complaint, you just click on that button and it will take you through the forms. And that's the easiest way for you to submit a complaint to the SEC and make us aware of what might have happened to you.
Okay. What's the typical turnaround time for the SEC to respond?
It depends on what sort of complaint that we're dealing with. Sometimes it can be a day or two. If there's a lot of research that goes into it, it can be a much longer timeline.
Okay, perfect. And Kate, what are your closing thoughts for our viewers? Would you mind sharing a couple points for us?
Sure. So, just to repeat some of the highlights of what I said, is that investors should never rely solely on information from group chats in making investment decisions. Be wary of any group chat where you receive investment advice from someone that you don't know. This is often how investment scams begin. Let's talk about who they are impersonating. Fraudsters are impersonating a well-known financial expert. Fraudsters are using deep fake AI videos sometimes. Sometimes the leader can be a completely made up person. They are also, again, claiming to be world renowned professors at elite universities. Verify who you are talking to. Verify who you are talking to is who they say they are. And the best way for you to do that is to verify that independently. Do not use links or websites or phone numbers that they are feeding to you. You have to, do your own research, be your own detective, be your own best protector. And through thorough research, you can, make sure that's what's being pitched to you in a group chat is or isn't a good idea, and report possible securities frauds to the SEC by, again, going to our website, which is sec.gov. And my final thing, and it's something that we say here all the time at the SEC, and it's just a great reminder, is that if it's too good to be true, it likely is. So just remember that when you are seeing things come through your phone and they seem too good to be true, it's something that's very quick and easy to remember and just makes you a bit of a more discerning customer.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kate. If you're concerned you've been scammed, you can reach a trained volunteer at the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877 908 3360. Again, that number is 877 908 3360. If you'd like more information and resources on fraud and scams from AARP New Jersey, please visit aarp.org/NJ Fights Fraud. Again, that's aarp.org/NJ Fights Fraud. If you're interested in learning more about free fun events, special offers, and the latest news from AARP, text the word YES, the number 2, email to 50757 to receive a one-time text message from AARP with a link to sign up for emails and learn about what AARP has to offer. Message and data rates definitely apply. We hope you learned something new today about how you can stay safe from fraud and scams. Please share what you've learned with your family and friends. Thank you and have a wonderful day.